For those of you who can't read backwards or have a hard time deciphering the contents of a can from the product pictured on the front, this is One Pie brand pumpkin. Canned pumpkin. Now, of course, they put the one pie on the front and the picture of the pie because what else does anybody use canned pumpkin for? But I think that's really underselling the pumpkin. I mean, pumpkin's a great, delicious vegetable of the squash family, and I'm sure there's a lot of other really good recipes that I could look up now if I wasn't a lazy bastard, but instead, you can go ahead and look them up and post them on the little comments underneath or something. The point being that all they have on the back here is your standard New England pumpkin pie recipe. Well, it's not usually New England pumpkin pie. I guess this is a regional can. I'm in New England, and so I guess you can start trying to track me down to kill me for the awful reviews that I will be doing over the next weeks, months, years, who knows, decades, anything. You'll also notice that my eloquence and level of articulateness may kind of go in and out during these reviews because these are entirely unscripted, off-the-cuff, trying to capture live feel kind of reviews. See, I would go back and edit that out otherwise, because I look like a jackass, but I kind of am, so might as well own it. Anyway, I have made the pumpkin pie from this recipe, except if you'll notice on the back of this, they have some nice things. They have molasses. You don't always get that in a pumpkin pie recipe, and it's important to include a good recipe on your pie. And I like the fact that they have kind of a unique one. It's New England pumpkin pie. A lot of pie cans just have the standard recipe, but if you look at their pumpkin pie seasonings, there's no cloves in here. Anybody who makes pumpkin pie without cloves, I can't talk to you. Well, I can, obviously. I'm talking to you now, probably. I'm sure some of you out there make it without cloves. I'm sure some of you don't even like pumpkin pie, which makes me feel a little less bad about this review being awful, because those of you who don't like pumpkin pie, what do you deserve? But anyway, if you'll, on the back, they also advertise their other fine one pie. You can't read this backwards, can you? Oh, take the time, put the effort in. I'm going to be fucking around trying to figure out what to say for a couple seconds anyway, so there you go. But as you can see, they have one pie squash. Never had squash pie. Doesn't sound that tasty, but then again, pumpkin's a member of the squash family, so I guess it tastes similar. But then why don't we buy the canned pumpkin, cook it like we would squash, serve it on Thanksgiving, and then make a squash pie for dessert? I don't know, maybe we should. They also have this Stewart's pie, which has like shelled beans, dark red kidney beans, and different kinds of applesauce. And they have bird's pie with frozen turnips and squash. I don't know, do they put these in the cans from the same brand? Do they still call it one pie? I think if you're selling kidney beans, you don't want to limit yourself to just appealing to the pie goers. Yeah, but anyway, and of course when you get this pie, as it always says, you need one 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. So you always buy that, and as far as I know, you don't buy evaporated milk for much else, which probably makes sense. I mean, what else would you want it for? But I've always wondered why they don't bother to make them different size. Like, it's very convenient for the consumers. I'm glad that they do. If they didn't have it be a 1-to-1 ratio for how many cans of each you need for a pie, I'd probably be on here complaining about it, but instead I'm going to give them a little suggestion to help them screw us over, because, well, I like a good challenge and then I can complain about it. But yeah, so let's say they had 2 cans of evaporated milk that you need for every 1 can of pumpkin to make a pie. Well, then, when you go to the store, if you're a big fan of pumpkin pie, you tend to stock up, as I do, but now you're not buying equal numbers of pumpkin and evaporated milk. Now you're buying twice as many evaporated milks. So what's going to happen is maybe if you're feeling particularly lazy, you don't count them, you end up with an odd number. So then after you've made a whole crap load of pumpkin pies, you find out you got 1 can of evaporated milk and 1 can of pumpkin left, but you're short one. So then you got to go out and buy another can of evaporated milk. You're probably going to stock up again, and in the long run you end up buying more cans of both. Or even if you buy an even number of the evaporated milk to keep the 2-to-1 ratio, the cans get dented, maybe they don't all expire at the same time, and you had a big pumpkin pie kick, so you stocked up, and then you didn't have pumpkin pie for a long time, you didn't feel like it, and one of your cans expired, so now you got an odd number again, and you got to go even it out. This wasn't as interesting as I thought it would be in my head, by the way. I'm sure you figured that out already. Like I said, live feel for these reviews. So yeah, in case you didn't notice, I'm trying to review things that aren't usually reviewed. I might have said that earlier even. I don't even know. It would be nice if I could go back and check and edit it out, but that's not the way we're playing, at least not tonight. I'm kind of rushing this out to please a friend. I told him I'd post a review tonight. He didn't believe me. I have to prove him wrong. Very important. But in this first review, would like to briefly go over. No, I think I'm done.